rusty we were after a 2-week layoff. We hadn't played for 2 weeks because we got beat out early in our conference tournament. So we were a little concerned about that, and it showed early in the game. Made a run second half, we get to 6, I think, maybe. But yeah, 6. Well, I think it was 44-38 at one time. So, but they hit threes and made the shots, and we didn't have an answer for that.
Questions for the player first? We'll let her go.
Do you feel like you guys were kind of nervous as a team going into today? Was there anything in particular you would think of that was why things got off to such a slow start for you guys, the group?
No, I don't think we got nervous. We was nervous when we went out there. Just like we haven't played in 2 weeks, and we was kind of rusty, like our coach said. And we just got off to a slow start.
Defensively, what were some of the things that Parkside was doing there to get some of those driving lanes and stuff inside like they did in the early going?
Probably they were screening a lot or whatever, and like we didn't cut off the baseline like we're supposed to. And you know, like we just put our hands up instead of fouling them.
What was working for you was your team started to hit the baskets a couple times. What specifically for you was working? You ended up with 14 points, so not a bad day, but
going to the offensive rebounds and like calling for the ball and going up strong.
What were some of the, as a team, how are some of the ways you're kind of able to snap out of it as far as some of the early stuff and get back into the game as a group? You touched a little bit on the rebounding. Were there some things on defense as well that were key to slowing Parkside down?
Yeah, once we started getting after him, like trying to deny the ball a little bit, and then cutting off the baseline, we did that, and like we got good results when we did that, like getting our hands on the ball every time, make a pass.
How much of a factor was their defense early on? You guys had some shots in close, just couldn't get them to go, but you were very tightly contested shots. How much did that have an effect?
It didn't, like, it had an effect somewhat, but it didn't have effect enough. We just didn't go up strong, or we didn't, like, get set and shoot the ball like we know we're capable of doing.
Any more questions for Ms. Washington? You can take off and he'll take you back to the locker room if you'd like, and we'll have questions for Coach.
Coach, you talked about that 2-week layoff with the tournament. What were some of the ways that rustiness you talked about kind of manifested itself in your team's play and early going?
Well, you know, we were playing pretty well at the end of the season. We won 3 games, I think, in a row at the end of the year. And we beat Drury, which is a big win for us, a very good team. And then we had an overtime loss in the first round of the conference at our place, actually, against Lewis. We had a 9-point lead in that game and couldn't make free throws down the stretch to win that game. And that affected our kids for several days. But when you're just competing basically against yourself for 2 weeks, you know, 10, 12 days, at this time of the year, it's not good. You need to be playing games, you know, every 3 or 4 days, and keeping the sharpness that we did have at that point in time. We're not a great shooting team anyway, especially from the outside, so we were really concerned with that. We knew they'd probably play zone. We played them a 3 overtime game at their place back in January, and we actually had that game won. We missed free throws down the stretch. They got it in overtime. So again, you know, we knew we were looking at a zone, and we just didn't shoot it. We just didn't pass it very well. Defensively, they were a step quicker than we were. And again, that's probably from not playing for a few days. We were a step slow defensively, and you know, they were making shot when they shoot 70% from the floor. I mean,
14 of the first 15.
I mean, we helped that a little bit, but still, you got to make the baskets. So, you know, they're shooting good. They had a lot of energy. They had a lot of energy early. We didn't have that, so we got in the hole. It was tough digging out.
what started to work for you as you started to dig your way out of it?
Well, we hit a couple threes. We got a couple threes, and we got a couple steals. Got some stops. And for us, with this team, it kind of seems when we are scoring, when we get some buckets, our defense is really good. We really pick up our defense, which I guess is probably true for most teams. But I think that's what kind of got us going. We hit a couple outside shots against the zone that we had earlier, and we got some stops, we got a couple steals defensively, and it kind of seemed to get us going a little bit, got us a little energy. We started playing some energy, and we haven't done that much again.
What were some tactical differences between today and when you guys played Parkside back in January?
You know, they didn't play as much zone that. They tried zone that night, but we had some success against it, so they weren't in it nearly as much as they were today. And they played us mostly man up there at their place. We played them man pretty much the whole game up there too, but today it was we just didn't guard well. Like I said, we were steps slow, and they were shooting it really well. Got to give them credit. They had a lot of energy today.
Talk about Bedica's bucket right before the end of the first half. You had cut it down to 10. Bedica hit that driving layup right before the end of the first half. Really seemed you guys had all the momentum. Looked like you had cut a 20-point lead down to 10. Gonna head into the locker room with some energy, and then she hits that driving layup.
Yeah, our guard just didn't keep her in front. You know, she crossed it over, and we try to reach for her. Should have been trying to steal it. Should have been trying to keep her in front. She goes right around us. Everybody else is standing and watching. She shoots a layup. So that's kind of the story of the whole game.
Anything else?